Hello, everybody, and welcome to the fourth and final race of the Swift Riders Germany Autumn Series. My name is Jess Brinker, and as always, I am your host. This tonight should be such a fun race because it's 4 weeks of racing in the Swift Riders Germany race coming together tonight. So they've raced in the Jungle Circus, they've raced one lap Watopia Flat, and they've raced one full lap of the Richmond UCI course, and tonight we're taking on the Innsbruck Ring on the Innsbruck course. Yes, do you remember that thing before New York? Yes. Tonight, we're on Innsbruck. And looking at the start line, I know he's just tuning in now. If he's not fat-fingering the keyboard or the phone or whatsoever, I do see we have a bit of a Swift celebrity in amongst the mix tonight. He thought he was racing me for a second there. He thought he was going to be clever. But John Mould, formerly of JLT Condor, second place in the Commonwealth Games. This is going to be fun. He's in here racing everybody. So if you are in the chat, if you are watching right now, please let me know. Say hi in the chat. I'll give you a quick shout out. I see Werner Fingers in there. He's raced pretty much every single race so far. He's in the chat tonight. I also see him in the race and on the start line. But in about 35 seconds time, we're going to see the start line or the start gate go down, and then it's 17 kilometers of action-packed racing on the Innsbruck Ring course. 2 laps. You know the Innsbruck Ring by heart by now. At least you should. If you don't, shame on you. It is about 4.5 to 5 kilometers of just roughly up and down, gentle, flat terrain, and then you hit the leg snapper, where you go up for about 600 meters, 700 meters at about 8-9%, and then you turn right, you come down, you do a U-turn, and you're at the finish line. I see Jebbe Tolbo's in here, Russ Crowder, Katrina Weiss. Well, in 2, 1, we are off. Greg Leo is in here as well. Lionel Vujersin. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a race for the ages. This is going to be such a great race to watch. This is CVR Vancouver World Cup champion who recently raced the European Cyclocross Championships for Rafa Amsterdam. Lionel Vujersin of Belgium is in here, obviously rocking that Rafa RCC kit within the game. Looks like he is on a Canyon Aero Road. Is that? I can't really tell what frame that actually is with SIP 808s. Looking further down through the start list, we have under 17, Michael Collins. We'll give him a little ride on. He's pushing 6 watts per kilo in there. We also have race leader Thomas Jendrush somewhere in here, and if all he needs to do is finish tonight, if Thomas Jendrush if he finishes this race and doesn't completely make a mess of it, he should take the overall victory in the race series. I see Werner Fingers in here. He's always one to give me a nice little message after the live stream is over, so thank you very much. You did the same thing last week, Werner. It's highly appreciated. Also, we had one of the youngest riders last week give me a quick message to say thank you after the stream. I do appreciate that a lot. Oh, there he is. There he is. That's the gentleman I was looking for. Where is he? Is he near the front now? I saw him for a second there, somewhere in amongst his action. I'll cover everyone of importance in the A category. But first, we got to get to my good friend who is in amongst the action tonight. And I think what John did is he went on the Swift Mobile and companion app and just saw one friend sign up to this race. And he thought, who is this? And I think he saw my name, so he went on Instagram, sent me a direct message and said, Jesper, I'm racing this race with you. And without a doubt, he would destroy me. John is quite quick, but the tables have been flipped, and little did he know I was commentating this race. So John, the pressure's on you to beat all of these riders. John is coming off an off break, as everybody in the pro peloton pretty much has, unless you've gone to China and done the Saturnia Crit or the Tour of Gangsai, whatever it is. But basically, John Mould is the ex-UK National Hill Climb champion. He's done quite well for himself in the Tour Series this year, and we're going to see how he stacks up against the best of Swift racing. Somewhere amongst the action, I did also see Greg Leo the Lion was somewhere in here. He's known for having a 23 watts per kilo sprint, which has been proven in a real-life event in Vancouver, so he does possess the power of putting out that sort of effort after a prolonged series of attacks in a race. I see Matt Looker, who last week finished runner-up to the Poison Dart Frog, Leo Messinio. So Messinio last week, if you don't remember, completely annihilated the field by attacking on the very first hill on Richmond and never looked back over his shoulder. And it was Matt Loker who kept instigating, kept trying to come back. And in the end, he just managed to finish second. I mean, he was probably well tired, as Messinio was just mental. But it looks like we might actually have a breakaway off the front here with 2 riders. We got Jansing and Vujersin off the front. And if there's a rider you do not want to let go on the front. It's Vujesin. This is what he did in Vancouver for the CVR World Cup. He'd go off the front. He'd go into his TT position, so the Tim Vellens position where you've got one hand over the other, and just do that. Just do that on his own. He would just leave Scotty Weiss behind. He'd leave everyone else behind. Like leave the was Lionel Sanders there? No, I don't think Lionel Sanders was at that one. He was at the LA one, but definitely got Vujesin up here. Also, big shout out to our Norwegian Viking up here. We've got Kurt Moldestad. Moldestad has been in every single one of the Swift Riders Germany races this autumn, and it looks like he's finishing it out tonight. He's done quite well for himself. He's lacking that top spot on the podium. Maybe tonight in the Innsbruck ring, it's going to be his time to shine out of Norway. But the peloton is predominantly made up of Germans in here. We've got Sven Kraft, who's been doing quite well for himself. As mentioned before, Thomas Jendrich, who is the leader. I also saw Antikill is in here. Or Antikill, it's not the French, the French Tour de France winner, but he did manage to win a race. I believe his real name is Thomas Mueller on Swift Power. He beat Matthew Druchon on the one lap Watopia flat race, where there's some dodgy action towards the end, but he still goes down in the history book as the winner of the race. But it was interesting how that one panned out. But we're 3.4 kilometers into the first lap of the Innsbruck ring. They're going to come down now into the city center, go through the city center, and then they're going to see a bridge at the very end. Once they hit that bridge, they're going to start going uphill. And that's where you're just going to have to put your head down and go really, really fast, really, really quick. We also got Tish Sonneveld. Sorry for getting a bit excited, but Tish Sonneveld is a former pro cyclist. He's now an author and a journalist in the Netherlands. He has written the book of Thomas Dekker, which is The Descent, which you may have read or not. A great book, can recommend. And Tish Sonneveld is quite a strong cyclist. He's one of the only pro cyclists that I know to have retired and then re-retired or like unretired and come back into pro cycling. So, but now he's retired again, I believe. Jeff Cunha is in here. I believe, yeah, he won the very first series. He won week 1, which was on the jungle circuit where not that many people showed up, but ever since Swift Community Live and Nathan Guerra picked up this broadcast, more and more people have gotten involved. We have 127 riders on the start line tonight in total, so that is quite impressive. I think that's just in the A category, actually, so quite impressive to see that growth over 4 weeks, and I'm sure Swift Community Live will pick up something else once this is over next week, so we can broadcast even more exciting racing. I see Mr. Dane of Denmark is also in here, but here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're in through the city center. I've walked these streets of Innsbruck about a month and a half ago. They go down this. Beware of the tram tracks. They turn left, and then on the top right-hand corner, you can see the bridge already. You cross that bridge, and that's where it starts to go uphill. It's so quick. It's so early. We shouldn't see too many people drop because we're only 5 minutes into racing, and you should have fresh legs. This one should hurt. It should tickle, but it shouldn't be detrimental to your race chances. But that's unless, of course, if Lionel Vujesin goes, yeah, guys, I'm just going to go from here, and I'm never going to look back. So Lionel Vujesin, racing for Team RCC on Zwift, and here we go. He's going to go over the bridge, 8 watts per kilo, 6 watts per kilo, 8 watts per kilo, going back up. Is anyone going to match this? Lionel Vujesin on his Wahoo Kicker Turbo trainer, the smart trainer that changes the resistance, has gone early. Looking further back, Greg Leo, he is one to follow his move. He's a self-proclaimed indoor specialist, so we'll see how he does with this one. Featherweights are being popped left, right, and center. Sven Kraft of Swift Riders Germany is popping one. Kempton of the SASCC, led by, I know who leads this group in Australia. Great guy, great club. Definitely would get involved with the Badgers, but Moldestad is also popping a featherweight to get over the top. You can see orange numbers all around. John Mold is doing well for himself. He's popping his arrow this early. That is quite questionable. I see sound has gone. Let me have a quick look. It should still, that might just be on you, Tim, because I'm looking at my end and it should be fine. Let me just get multiple confirmation in the chat to see if that is the case. If you can't hear me, it quite does defeats the purpose of me sitting here talking into the microphone. I don't quite see it updated just yet in the chat, but if you can hear me, send me a message on either Messenger, in the chat, or WhatsApp, and we can confirm it whether or not. Otherwise, you're literally just watching the broadcast on the screen, but you should be able to hear me. So John Mold back in, Vujesin is back in, Leo is back in, Kempton is on the back here, Sonneveld is sitting in. Just give me 2 seconds to confirm. There you go. So it looks like the group has split from the back of Kempton. So 24 riders have made the front group in the first lap of the Innsbruck Ring. It's 2 laps in total. One lap is roughly around 8.5 kilometers. So 17 kilometers in total of racing tonight. It's short and steep. You're saying there's really no broadcast. There's really no sound. I'm not. Is this your Mac or is this me being wrong? Can you hear me? We can hear you. Yeah, Brad Curtis can hear me. I'm not sure. I see the sound volumes going up and down as well. I'm not so sure what's happening. So if you can hear me, can you please give me a nod? Is there a Swift Community live stream for tonight's Kiss race, Jesper? Yes, there is, Yep. I believe that Nathan Guerra is doing it later on. If not, I think your manager's doing it, Klaus Nielsen. Russ says it's sound as well. I'm not sure what's in your pipe, Mr. Fulford, but there's definitely... Kim Little is saying it's fine as well, so I do apologize that you can actually hear me, because some might find that quite annoying, but for those that don't find it annoying, well, thank you for tuning in. So it looks like it's just my good colleague Tim Fulford's computer that's a bit messed up. But taking stock... Sorry for that. It's taking stock of who's made it. Matt Looker, last week's second place runner-up. Werner Fingers made it. Henderson is quite strong as well. And Tequil's in here. Voyasin, meanwhile, in that confusion, has gone off the front again at 6 watts per kilo. Greg Leo is sitting in now. We're getting a actually a drafting power being popped by Werner Finger. He's probably hoping to get another power up as he goes underneath the start-finish banner for the last time, or I guess the penultimate time of the day, to enter that final lap of racing. Dane is in here. Sven Kraft is in here. He's been the bridesmaid, never really the bride in this just yet. John Mold has made it, but you can see his heart rate is at 166. He's sweating. He's suffering. He's going at it, but at least he kitted up to get racing tonight. T. Sonneveld is at the back. Heart rate is a bit lower, 153. I'm not so sure how high it goes. I believe he is about 10 years older than John, so there is that when you go looking at heart rates. Yeah, now it gets interesting because I don't think double draft is activated for this race. So if you do break off the front like Lionel Vujas has been continuously trying to attempt, even if you get that break off the front, I don't think the draft is strong enough to give you that boost anymore. So I have seen some issues with double draft. I was mentioning, funny enough, that double draft was causing team draft to get the cone of shame, basically telling you that your trainer's uncalibrated, you missed your calling as a pro. So it simply was messing with the speed algorithm a tiny bit. So, but that's interesting, but it's not activated in this race, unfortunately. So now, as you can see in the top right-hand corner, they're coming towards the start-finish banner for the penultimate time of the day. This is going to be entering the last lap. And when they see that, they've got another 6 kilometers until they hit the leg snapper, and that's where they're going to have to go hard again. But this race is simply so short, which doesn't make it any easier. It's still very high paced. It's still sitting at 4 to 4.5, maybe even 5 if you were certainly not using the draft correctly. But there are certain points where you can somewhat rest up and get ready for explosions before your legs get too tired. I have seen races of 5 to 6 laps of the Innsbruck Ring, and those hurt. When you come to the Innsbruck Ring for the 4th or the 5th time, that's like your legs should give out. They should simply be so tough, because when we initially watched the Ecrit on the Innsbruck Ring, or the Australian Chop race on the Innsbruck Ring, what would happen is you do so well for so long, but the final time up the Innsbruck Ring, up the leg snapper, the hill would just be that 10 seconds, 5 seconds too long. Like, you'd get to a point where you were feeling good, and you start looking up, you're like, finish line, come, no, okay, yeah, I'm dead, bye. And then it would snap. And the thing about the leg snapper on the Innsbruck Ring that is so unique, which is so special to this course itself, is that at the very top of this, it goes downhill again. It goes straight downhill. So there's no respite. And if the elastic is just about to snap at the top, that descent following the incline is guaranteed to snap the elastic. So if you can find it in yourself to go harder for that like 5 seconds, it will save you so much energy on the descent. But it looks like there was another attack off the front. It looks like to be a WBR rider, and it is. It is Mr. Henderson from Race WBR in the United States, who's racing in the, I guess it's the noon time for him over in the States. So he's trying to go onto the attack, but it's Mr. Enketil, Germany, Swift Riders Germany, who is sitting behind him, chasing him back. He's getting a bit antsy. He's getting a bit happy on the trigger finger here from Henderson, because realistically, there's not going to be a move that goes before the leg snapper. You're going to have to wait. You're going to have to keep your powder dry until the leg snapper. The level of playing field in this race is simply so prestige, so high, that in order to do anything of magnitude, you really just need to wait for the leg snapper, give it everything, and then hope to have formed a 3 to 5 man group. Because I can guarantee you that Lionel Vujasin will give it everything. Greg Leo will be up there. Werner Finger will be up there. Moldestad will be up there. Tish Sonneveld, who is no stranger to winning a Swift race, will be up there. I have my doubts about John Mold. Rumor has it he's been on one too many stack dues, so we'll see how he carries that JLT kit up over the top. It'll be interesting to see what kit on Swift John Mold is going to be in next year as he changes out that JLT Condor kit with a new team. I can't wait to see those calls be updated. Although the JLT kit is one of the nicer kits in the professional peloton, or should I say, was. So 11 kilometers down in the top middle, you can see it says 11 kilometers. They're doing 17 kilometers in total, so they've only got 6 kilometers left of racing. But those 6 kilometers, especially the last 3 kilometers, are going to be raced faster than you've ever seen before. Because you don't want to take Greg Leo to a sprint. Greg Leo, the Lion, will beat you as long as he's got an aero power up. You don't want to take Tish Sonneveld to a sprint. I don't think you want to take John Mold to a sprint either. Like, he's quite quick. He's quite explosive in that department. And even Henderson could do it. So there are some riders in here, like Lionel Vujasin, who have to use their engines, their massive just power, the diesel truck they are, to try and get off the front. And we have seen Lionel Vujasin attempt it. We have seen Henderson attempt it. But the way the algorithm works on Swift right now in the racing, when double draft isn't activated, just makes it that bit more difficult to get off the front and establish a breakaway to try and take turns. Because you see it again now. I think this is Henderson once again just upping the pace in the front. But again, it's Anquetil. Anquetil's going with him. He's already had one win over Matthew Drujon, ex-pro who used to race for Big Mac Racing. He raced for Caisse d'Epargne, but this is Kurt Moldestad again, the usual suspects. Greg Leo is going up to 8 watts per kilo. This is happening because most of these guys are probably on a smart trainer and they can feel that resistance kick up to 1-2%, especially if they're on 100% trainer resistance, which I doubt most of them are, but some will be on a higher percentage. So if you're on 1, if you're on 2%, you'll feel the extra bit of resistance, you'll feel the urge to do more power, and you do it, the next guy does it, the next guy does it, and suddenly you're doing 6 watts per kilo, 7 watts per kilo, and now you're going to see it come back down again because the resistance is going down as they're now hitting the -4, -5, -6. Like M. Krabus at 3.2, Kraft's at 2.7, Cunha's at 3. So they're all pretty much on their smart trainer turbos, whether that's a Wahoo Kicker, a Tax Neo, Elite Drivo, Elite Diretto, Kicker Core, I mean, Tax Flux. I mean, pick your choice. There's many smart trainers now these days to be on. But now, in the chat, since we've confirmed you can hear me, I want you to come up with a prediction. Who's going to win this race? Because we're coming up to the leg snapper now, and I will close predictions at the bottom of the leg snapper. I want you to predict a name to win the 4th and final race in the Swift Riders Germany Autumn Race Series. I have a keen eye. I gotta go with John Mold. I'm sorry, guys. I'm the ultimate fanboy. I've got to go with John. I think he'll somehow get over the top. The sensible pick. If you picked with your brain and not your heart, Lionel Vujasin would be a great pick. Greg Leo would be a great pick. Tish Sonneveld would be a great pick. What would not be a great pick is John Mold, especially looking at the Instagram messages he's been sending me. But I'm going with my heart. I'm a man of emotion and passion, and I think the Welsh Dragon will fly the highest tonight, and he will spit fire upon the competition. But Matt Looker, also another rider from the Isle of Man who should not be disregarded. Jeff Cunha, Werner Finger. I mean, the list is just going on. There's no poor choice, except John Mold, but there's no poor choice in this professional peloton of Swifters. But here we go. Tram lines, you can see them on the right. The peloton is going through the city center. They're about to turn left for the second and final time of action tonight here in the Swift Riders Germany Autumn Series Race 4, 17 kilometers in total. Leg snappers coming up. It's just head down and watt up through the roof. If you have a featherweight power up, this is maybe the time to use it. If you have a drafting power up, this may be the time to use it. If you've got an aero power up, only if it's absolutely essential. Otherwise, I would save it for the sprint finish. But here we go. Turning right over the bridge. You know the deal. We're looking at Moldestad. We're looking at Lionel Vujersen. We're looking at Anquetil. There they are. Vujersen is on the front again. The RCC. He's sitting third wheel. Greg Leo knows about this as well. He's going to 9. He's going to 8 watts per kilo from Team Draft. This is really where you've got to be paying attention. Any drafting right here can go such a long way. Greg Leo is actually going to instigate this off the front with a featherweight power-up. Anquetil is there. Huchel is here. John Mold is there. Sven Kraft, Vujersen, Damage. This is going to be the move. This is the feather, but it's going to run out just about now. John Mold in second wheel. How much does he have left? He's also in there now, but Anquetil is coming around with a massive burst of acceleration. He's sitting at 6. He's sitting at 7. He's bringing it back down now at 168 beats per minute, 86 RPM. Over the top comes Greg Leo, and so does Matt Looker. Moldestad will crest the top first. Now, continuation is the name of the game. You've got 3.5 kilometers to go, 2.5 kilometers to go. You can make some serious damage if you get organized early on, but it looks like everyone has gotten over the top except for Henderson, except for John Rowe, and except for a few others like Werner Finger, who's been left in the wake of that massive attack of Greg Leo, Moldestad, and company. Jeff Cunha just making it back on, but you can see the effort he had to put back out to just get back into the peloton. But 2 kilometers to go now. You've made your predictions. Now is the time to stick by them. Sven Kraft has made it to the front as well. Sederholm of Norway. Race WBR of Denmark is in this group as well. 2 kilometers now. It's going to be downhill. They're going to turn left by the river. They're going to come back around. And that is 1 kilometer to go. Once they turn back around to the right, you want to be trying to save as much energy as possible now, but you also want to be staying awake and aware of any attack that might happen, because there are some riders in here that know they can't take it to the sprint. They know they don't have the adequate burst of acceleration that a Greg Leo has, so they will have to try something. And again, we're looking at Anquetil, we're looking at Vujersen with 1.5 kilometers to go now. Everybody's starting to get antsy. They're looking around. You've done 20 minutes of racing. Suddenly the legs are starting to pipe up and starting to tell you they hurt a tiny bit. I mean, twice up the leg snapper. That's gotta, like, there's a reason why it's called the leg snapper. It does honestly hurt like a yes. So Anquetil still leading for Swift Riders Germany. Sven Kraft is up here. Collins from under 17. Like, despite being that young, and that you can see his avatar is much smaller than everybody else's in there, so done quite well to get up there. Oh, attack on the front. This is it. M. Dane of Denmark is going off the front. Anquetil's with him. Sven Kraft is with him as well. Vujersen is trying to attack. Now, somebody has to go over the top and react to this. Somebody has to continue over the top here. But I'm not, like, I'm looking at Anquetil here, and I'm not, yeah. I think the race jury might have to have a closer look here, because I'm not sure about this effort from our famous German rider in here. I think we might have to have the race commissioner of Swift Riders Germany have a look into the effort being put out here. Vujersen, though, at 4.5. Cunha has made his way to the front. He's already won 1 sprint in the Swift Riders Germany Autumn Series. Now, this is just about where my hotel was in Innsbruck, actually, when I went there. But here we go over the bridge. There's a nice spa on the left, but we're not going to go there, so we're going to go straight. And then there's going to be La Flamme Rouge, the final kilometer, which is just about now. So about, in real life, 1 kilometer to go. Also in the racing, there's about 1 kilometer to go. Now, who's going to take this? I fear that the power-ups are going to pay a massive advantage in this. If you've saved an aero power-up, it will go a long way. Positioning in the sprint will go a long way. 750 meters to go now. Looking around, who's going to be the first one to move? We know the great sprinters such as Greg Leo. They've got that extra bit of kick. When are they going to use it? When are they going to kick it in? Vujersen is at 5. Collins at the front. Everyone is slowly trying to move up. They can now see the finish line on the top. This is it. Who's going to win the final round of the Swift Riders Germany series in the autumn? Matt Looker is sitting second wheel. Anquetil is going up to 10 watts per kilo. We're staying on Vujersen, though. He's going to 12. We got Matt Looker at 9. Vujersen is back down. This is an early sprint. He's popping the featherweight. This is a really, really early sprint from Vujersen. Anquetil is at 16. We're just going to let him go. We're going to have the race commissioner look into that one afterwards. John Mold is gone. And he's gotten lucky to get an aero power-up. John Mold of JLT Condor, 11 watts per kilo, but can he keep on this? Chasing him down is Vujas in his Cunha. 200 meters to go now. They can see the finish line, but it's still so far away. This could be a premature acceleration from John Mold. Everyone's going to come around him. Matt Looker of Isle of Man with Jeff Cunha. This is going to be Matt Looker's redemption from last week's Swift race. He may have lost to Lionel Messi, but he's proven that the Isle of Man's got as well. And then we got Cunha, Mold, Vujas, Tish, Moldestad. What a great race, everybody. Well done. Thank you so much for taking part in all 4 weeks of the Swift Riders Germany series. It's been so much fun. I can't wait to see what comes up next in this great racing schedule. To everyone that raced today, thank you so much for putting out your effort. Congratulations to Matt Looker for taking the win today. And also to everyone who watched and cheered on in the comment section below, thank you so much. My name has been Jess Branker, and I will see you later.